Saturday. Oops, I fumbled. Rewind. Tonight on Sports Saturday, did a day of mistakes bite the Tide against the Gators? Or would the scoreboard be able to hold all these yards the Tide racked up?
You got to say we did some good things.
We have the full recap. Plus, an SEC team was on the ropes in an out-of-conference showdown. We take you around the league. So put your hands up, grab a friend. We're lifting you up, and we start right now.
Of the University of Alabama. Live sports from Alabama's sports team. This is WVUA Sports.
Yeah, we're partying tonight. No, you did not hit your head. That wasn't Brody Croyle hitting Tyrone Prothro in 2005, but it was Blake Sims to Kenyon Drake on the Tide's first play from scrimmage. 87 yards, the same yardage, the same as Prothro and Croyle in that play in 2005. Not as quite of a one-sided result, though, today. Welcome into Sports Saturday. I'm BJ Millican. The Crimson Tide looked to be poised to run all over the Gators, but it was not a cakewalk. Teacher meeting mentor in midfield before the game. Saban versus Muschamp, a strange start for Bama. Down 14-7 after two Gator scores off turnovers. The Tide goes to the air. Sims to Cooper. No one around him. 79 yards. Ball game is tied. Later, Sims finds Jalston Fowler. Check it. Big man with some nimble feet. He gets those heels in. 445 yards passing for Blake Sims. Bama up 21-14. But second half didn't start too well. Bama mistakes rearing their head. Antonio Morrison off the deflection. Gators in business. Driscoll's arm wasn't there today, but look at him run. Crazy legs Driscoll. Perfect play call on the draw, and we're tied again. But the Tide started to impose their will from this point on. Derrick Henry, 111 yards for him, and this score tied up 28-21. Blake Sims hurt his shoulder, came back in. Jake Coker, though, at that time, did what smart quarterbacks do. Find Amari Cooper. Bama wins big, 42-21. Here is Coach Saban on Amari's 10-catch, 203-yard performance.
Well, you know, Coop had a great game. He's had a great season so far. He's made a lot of explosive plays, and he's a really, really good player. And he works hard all the time, and I think everybody trusts and believes that he's going to do it exactly like they expect him to do it. So it's easy to have trust and respect for that, and he does a fabulous job for us, and the guy's a great player. I think it's a real advantage to have a weapon like that, you know, for us to be able to utilize.
And here are the numbers. Your screen is not broken. Alabama rolls up 645 total yards, fourth most in school history. Blake Sims, a career day. Amari Cooper, another great day. The first time in Tide history that they've had a 400-yard passer, a 200-yard receiver, and a 100-yard rusher. That Lane Kiffenhire is looking pretty good. Now, for more on the Tide win over the Gators, here's sports director Gary Harris, and from Tider Insider TV, Rodney Orr. Guys.
Thank you, BJ. Well, Alabama wins its SEC home opener here at Bryant-Denny Stadium, 42-21 over the Florida Gators. And interesting game, Rodney. That's the best way to put it. A little bit of everything, but let's start with the positive. 645 total yards of offense for Alabama, 200 for the Florida Gators.
Yeah, obviously, I think it was complete total domination in that regard, Gary. And I tell you one thing that really stands out to me. Number one is how successful Alabama was on third downs on both sides of the ball. I think Florida was 2 of 13 on third downs. Alabama was 12 of 16. Another thing that stands out at me is at halftime, Alabama had 30 yards rushing. In the second half, they put up 166 and finished with 196 on the ground. So we know how important it is for Alabama to run the football.
Blake Sims was terrific again, but he did bruise his shoulder. Good news is Alabama has the bye week. Now the negative. 11 penalties, one cost them a touchdown, two others cost them big plays, and 4 turnovers, 3 of which led to Florida scores. Not sure Florida would have scored without the benefit of the turnovers.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not sure they would have scored either. You're talking about a drive of 16 yards, a drive of 31 yards, and then they had the 49-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown. And, you know, I just thought Alabama's defense really played, in my opinion, its best game of the season.
Quickly on Blake Sims, he threatened Scott Hunter's total offense and passing records, but had to leave the game for a while, but still an amazing performance.
I wonder, does anyone have a question about his ability to throw the ball downfield now. I mean, you're talking about an 87-yard touchdown throw, a 79-yard touchdown throw, had several big throws down the field. I thought it was a very good performance, obviously, by Blake Sims.
And Amari Cooper, 10 catches, more than 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, and had another one called back. Okay, Alabama's right where it needs to be, 4-0, 1-0 in the SEC, and now the bye week before going to Oxford in 2 weeks. For Rodney Orr, I'm Gary Harris. BJ, back to you.
Thanks, guys. Much more Tide breakdown in this one. Plus, we're going to go around the SEC. A ranked team in trouble at home. We'll show you the highlights. Plus, a ton of Crimson Tide mistakes in this game, uncharacteristic for the Nick Saban team. Next up, the players tell us how they overcame the adversity to knock off the Gators. Hey, it's all quiet now in Tuscaloosa. Sports Saturday, we're not quiet. We're returning after the break. Stay with us. We're back with our play of the day. North Carolina, watch this. This is one of my favorite plays in all of sports. It's a field goal, right? No, it's a fake. I love it. Check out Tommy Hibbert. He's not a quarterback, but he finds Eric Albright for the touchdown. Unfortunately, though, the Pirates lit up the Tar Heels 70-41. It was a good idea at the time to do that fake field goal. Hey, Alabama didn't give up that many points, but the Tide did have a number of uncharacteristic mistakes. The Tide fumbled 3 times, lost all 3. Blake Sims had a pass tipped, intercepted, so 4 turnovers for Bama, which led to all 21 of Florida's points. Nick Saban says that they have to tighten up those costly mistakes in the future.
I'm really proud of the way our guys overcame adversity in this game, had resiliency to yeah, I wish we didn't do all the bad things. We did them. We hung in there. We played the next play. We eventually got control of the game, which speaks a lot about the competitive character that the players have and how they kept hanging in there.
That's the main thing we've been waiting for, to see how we can overcome the bad things coming in. We see that we can make that happen and come back and go score and have to do what we have to do.
I don't know how many turnovers we had. We had a few. All of us just regrouped on the sideline. Look, guys. We knew this was going to happen. There's going to be adversity when you get into SEC play, and I felt like we bounced back from it.
Here's how it looked on paper. Sloppy play at times with the bright side. Alabama also forced 3 turnovers. They had 11 penalties for 80 yards, multiple takeaways for the first time this year. We turn to the SEC, and we ask this question every year. Is Mississippi State for real? The Bulldogs are undefeated, playing well, but the real test came tonight in Death Valley. Peter Crank is going to love these highlights. The Bulldogs have a pretty good quarterback this year, guys. Dak Prescott finds former Winona Dragon. That's right, the big man. De'Runnya Wilson, 9-yard score, using those rebounding skills. Later, though, the Mad Hatter, he likes to gamble. A chance to tie the game, going for it on 4th and goal. Jennings stuffed. Les cannot believe it. Dan Mullen's like, oh yeah, I can believe it. A rough night for Tiger quarterback. State, a big road win. 34-29, the newsroom was pumped up for that one. Vanderbilt hosting South Carolina. Derek Mason's team with some life, up 7-0 already. Patton Robinette finds C.J. Duncan, 8-yard touchdown. The Doors anchoring down, everybody. But Vandy going to Vandy, guys. Dylan Thompson to Demir Bird, 29 yards. South Carolina survives a major scare, 48-34 is the final. 18th ranked Mizzou hosting Indiana Hoosiers. Kevin Wilson's Hoosiers had a 7-0 lead. I'm going to say Hoosiers because I like saying it. Matty Mock finds Jimmy Hunt. He likes scoring touchdowns, 45 yards. We fast forward to the 4th. Under a minute to go. Tigers clinging to a 3-point lead. Nate Studfield. You just got to tackle him, guys. Tackle him. Tevin Coleman going all the way down, 44 yards. That's going to set up D'Angelo Roberts. Touchdown. Indiana shocks Mizzou, 31-27. Kevin Sumlin and the Aggies in Dallas against SMU. Trey Williams got the ball 7 times today. Here's one of those times. He scores the touchdown in the corner. 268 total rushing yards for A&M Williams. We said he had 7 touches. We saw 1. There's 2. Another touchdown. Gig'em rolling. Later, it's going to be Kenny Trill, as he likes to call himself. 70 yards up top. Josh Reynolds. And these guys are just better than us, Coach. That's what SMU's players are saying. Too much for the Ponies, 58-6, A&M wins. I debated even showing the Troy, Georgia highlights. After getting beat by Abilene Christian, the Trojans were just woodshedded today by Georgia. Avert your eyes, people. Put the kids to bed. I hope they're already in bed. Georgia takes out their frustration today, 66-0. Arkansas in non-conference action. They blow out a pretty decent Northern Illinois team. A nice night from Brandon Allen, 52-14. Arkansas gets the win. Much more to come coming up on Sports Saturday, including a look at 2 big national games and the Stillman Tigers in action as well. Plus, the man, the myth, the legend. Bobby Bowden weighed in on the Jameis Winston situation with us this morning. What's next for Jameis in the coach's eye? That's coming up, so stay with us. This morning we had the pleasure of welcoming legendary Florida State head coach Bobby Bowden to CTKO. Among the topics we discussed, Florida State quarterback Jameis Winston. Here's what the coach had to say about the Hueytown natives' recent issues.
I think they finally got it right. You know, suspending him for half of a game, there were some people skeptical of that. I'm talking about some Florida State people, you know, and I just found out last night, because I've been up here in Alabama the whole last 3 or 4 days, that they have suspended for a game. I think they're probably right, you know, and I'm not sure how much longer Florida State would put up with something like this. But Jimbo's pretty tough. Jimbo's an excellent coach.
And here's how they're faring right now. Uh-oh. Upset alert. Clemson up 17-10 in the fourth quarter. You know, another guest this morning on CTKO was Howard Schnellenberger. He coached the Miami Hurricanes in their glory days. He won a national title against Nebraska. That rivalry got renewed tonight. Nebraska came out and they did what Nebraska does, touched the lucky horseshoe. Early on, it wasn't very lucky. Miami's Duke Johnson punches it in. He's got the Dukes up. An early lead for the Hurricanes. But have no fear, the Cornhuskers have Amir Abdullah from Homewood High School. Takes the swing pass in for the score. Later on, Amir's going to have a 6-yard run. There he is. This 6-yard run is significant because it means that he passes Johnny Rogers as the all-time leader in all-purpose yards. The Huskers are up 41-24 in the fourth. So congratulations to Amir. That's big time. West Virginia welcoming Oklahoma to Morgantown. First quarter, Clint Trickett. We know this guy. He finds Kevin White. We know that guy too. He is gone. Touchdown, Mountaineers. Upset-minded Mountaineers. But Oklahoma strikes back. Semaj Perrine. Did I get that right? I don't know. 2-yard score. 17-17 at that point, but too much Sooners in this one. They're pulling away late in the ball game. They're probably going to end up winning that game. Let's go to the Stillman Tigers. They're hosting St. Augustine's College. How about Jonathan Esther? He had a day that anyone would love to have. Low workload, maximum results. 3 carries, 2 touchdowns. That's big. The Stillman Tigers pick up a big win, 37-19. That's all the time we have for tonight. Oh, no, it's not. Look at that. I'm silly. I thought we had no time left, Chang. Sanford wins big. Jack State beats West Alabama. That's Texas Southern. Alabama A&M score is not 0-0, I promise. Hampton roughs up Miles College, and Georgia Southern was trailing to South Alabama just a little while ago. That's all the time we have for tonight. Don't forget, check out WVUATV.com for Nick Saban's post-game press conference, the whole thing, a lot more on there, including CTKO from this morning. We leave you with more scenes from the Tide's big victory from the 42-21 over the Florida Gators. That's all the time we have for tonight. Good night.